Thank you so much. I first want to start out by giving thanks to you guys as well as everybody that's tuning in and the other artists. It's really amazing to be in such good company and this opportunity. I take it very seriously and I really appreciate it. So I figured what I would do would be start with sharing my screen and kind of give you a bit of background about my work. And let's do it.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So
So excited.
yeah, so I guess to summarize, I'm an interdisciplinary artist and educator. I'm currently based in the Bay Area. I came here in 2016 to pursue my MFA. And then since then, I've stayed and worked on kind of various types of work, series based. I figured for this, I would start with some graduate based work and kind of go through and show you a little sneak peek of some newer work later on. So this installation shot is of like 4 different pieces. In the beginning of grad school, I was very interested in the materiality of rope and kind of thinking about the duality, its ability to mend or put things back together, but also its associations with taking life away. And so you can kind of see that popping up in the 2 sculptures that are hanging. And then I started thinking about what I could do to further push that. So I decided to start making my own rope through these bolo ties. And this turned into a series of work titled 7 Generations of Bolo Ties, where I was creating these different, I guess you'd call them like abstract situations or scenarios or images, aesthetics to make these bolo ties that were really large. Each one ranges from like 5.5 feet to like 6 feet tall. And they're installed to hang within the space and kind of float. And you can kind of access both sides of them. And what I thought was really successful about this work was what the viewer brings to it. So when they go into the space and they kind of encounter them, even the air conditioning, like the elements will start to make them dance and twirl. And
does the human body also like invade the shadows? Because the shadows are just super powerful here as well.
yeah, I love how they kind of can stand alone, stand kind of individually on their own, but then as a collective, they almost become like the front lines to some sort of cause. I was very interested in looking at like past history, bringing it into the present, and then thinking about kind of a future and how I am connected to my community and some of the issues and things that I want to like raise awareness about, but also just a celebration in general, like a celebration because this is traditional beadwork. I grew up being taught how to do this, and so it's made its way into a lot of the pieces that I make. Yeah, so I figured I'd just go through kind of rapid fire to
Yeah.
make
No, we
sure
love it. Yeah.
on time. So this piece, You Can Never Wipe Us Out. It's a found squeegee and a leather skirt, and then the text is actually beaded. So again, that kind of traditional materiality, but then the inclusion of text was something that I was interested in at the time. The political, well, there's always something political happening, but at the time we had just gotten, Trump had just came into presidency. And so I was very kind of scared about what that meant for my community and my family and communities that I care about. So this idea of like, you can never wipe us out being this like political statement. And then this kind of brings me to an overarching theme in my work, which is beadwork being akin to or a form of like elevated pointillism. And so there's a lot of research that goes into the work that I do, and obviously always wanting to kind of draw upon work that's already been done, right? And so I have this little
get a
mini
video.
video
Oh,
of
I
some
know this piece.
detail.
I know.
So you can kind of see where when I go back into the studio, I then typically end up drawing because I have this background in printmaking and painting actually. And so what I find interesting about a lot of the drawings and paintings that I do is that elements. I take elements from those drawings and then they turn into these sculptures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
so this is
interesting.
one of the auction pieces. This one's titled Keep Running. And I call these kind of like mind maps because again, it feels like I'm just putting everything that I'm thinking about onto paper, and this like materializing it feels really satisfying and important. So that piece is available. I really
Yes,
love
I
this
love this.
piece. It's quite large. It's 30 inches by 23 inches. And there's just so much going on. There's so much layers to this. So yeah, I hope you guys can see it in person.
Christine has seen it in person. I have not yet, but as with all of your work, I'm kind of always astounded at the critical rigor you bring to your practice, to kind of your own, certainly biography and the way that might extend to kind of larger issues, but the kind of interdisciplinary and mixed media nature of the work and the way you cross boundaries of media, but there is this incredibly strong through line that makes it so clear that this is your voice, your intention, your story. It's really powerful. I'm so excited to
I
work with you and
appreciate
have
that.
this.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. Yeah, materiality is something that is really important, and everything I feel like has this intention. And this piece, you can kind of see that connection from the last one to this. So there's this um, relationship and investment in form, and as well as the addition of these. These are dried natural elements. So we have dried pinto beans and sunflower seeds, and so these have like a personal history. And again, an overarching theme is this investment in raising awareness about certain issues. And for me in particular, I'm invested in raising awareness about violence against Native women, girls, and two-spirits. And so that constantly is coming up in a lot of the work. And I think I will just go through a lot of these images.
Yeah.
This is like a studio. I was looking at these plains drawings, and you typically see horses, like people on horseback, but this one was really kind of out of the blue. I discovered this in this like the centipede ledger drawing, and then it started making me think about these organisms, and then it led into this whole series and body of work where I'm invested in this hybridity. So this all of these forms these are soft sculptures, and I'm thinking about them as both being human as well as animal, and trying to, I guess, make sense of that and what that means, especially coming from where I'm coming from. The dehumanization of Native people is ongoing, and I think these works kind of touch upon that. You can see some of them installed in this piece. This
Yeah,
was a
well,
show that just went up and came down.
I know.
Yeah,
I was really sorry to miss that show. I read a lot of reviews and it looked amazing.
yeah, that was a really good show. It was curated by Betsy Holly, and she bring like so many amazing works together in one space, and so I felt really honored to be included. And then this brings me to the second piece in the auction, which is titled Inner Child. And I very much see a lot of these as being pieces that are at rest. And I think that's really relevant to the current times. Kind of the what does it mean to rest, to lay down, to be in the fetal position. There's just so much, there's so many different associations that one can have with that. And I'm interested in the tension or the power of being at rest as well.
I can't wait to
Awesome.
see that work in person, because I think that was the first work that Christine actually introduced me to your work, and kind of these sort of like beautiful, almost like fetish object like things that do feel in some ways like severed body parts, but have this incredible beauty and organic nature. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. This will be the first of your work that I'm seeing in person, and
Oh,
that's amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we're so lucky to have two pieces, which I'm really grateful. And when you see them in person at the ICA, you can really see the connection between the two, and they just look so beautiful together. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Natani. Much more soon.